All right, good morning and welcome back to Prince's It channel. We thank the Lord this morning for His goodness, His mercies, His loving kindnesses over us, knowing that we're at the verge of the promises of God for our lives. And for those of us who have received strength over the past few days when the ecosystem was heated up in controversies and a lot of ups and downs, but we derive strength in the blood of Jesus Christ and the mercies, the fellowship of His suffering, who has given us the capacity to live above the storm, regardless of the plans and activities of the devil. We are meant to overcome, and so we are, because we have been wired for this purpose. Now, in the past few days, the air around grant disbursement programs in the country has been so thick with tensions, expectations, speculations, and unfortunately, misinformation at different times. A lot of individuals and communities have placed their hope in this disbursement. Yes, and we are hoping that this is going to spark a new beginning for families, for cooperatives, for struggling businesses, and rightly so. But the frustration, the anxieties, and the growing doubts could also be termed as valid at a time like this, considering the prolonged waiting period, countless postponements, and bureaucratic bottlenecks that have bedeviled the ecosystem. But today, we break through the fog with this firm, detailed, and honest analysis of the current situation, offering not just facts, but assurances that everything is ultimately working in our favor. And that is the honest truth. A kind of just a diversion, just a moment. Madam Ngozi Israel dropped just a hint yesterday and talked about election. That there are those who never have heard about this from the on-go, but with some of the delay, they were part of the election that they will be partaking in this particular scheme. But you see, they are coming later. And you have been there for the past 4 years. And God never allowed this to be disbursed. All of those discrepancies came in and all those things. And it appeared, sometimes it appears like these are satanic activities. But you see, the works of God, nobody seems to understand it. We just have to follow on in faith and believe. In addition to that, look at the thief on the cross. His moment, his lifestyle took him to be hanging there. It wasn't the lifestyle of Jesus that hung him on the cross. It was your lifestyle. It was my lifestyle that hung him there. But the thief at the other side, it was his lifestyle that hung him there. But see, at the last minute, he was ordained. He was predestinated to be saved. Yes, to be saved. And he was saved. There was nothing anybody could do about it. He was saved, and rightly so. So forget about all he has done, all to that. He has been on a detour, ups and downs, and finally, the grace of God granted him the audacity to know how to speak at the dying moment. And there was an assertion to his living. Say, tonight, you will be with me in paradise. Now, having said that, we don't know the plan of God concerning this, but all we do is to follow in faith, trusting God that everything is going to work to the favor of every singular subscriber within this grand ecosystem. All right, now the most recent updates, as sourced from trusted stakeholders and verified platforms, And just what we know that all of us are aware of is that the International Monetary Fund has re-engaged fully with the Nigerian disbursement framework, but under very strict conditions. This was after months of non-compliance and mismanagement from certain quarters of the Nigerian political structure. The IMF, the international structure or body, and other foreign partners or nationals have demanded structural reorganization and alignment. And yesterday night, the 5-man delegate left for Switzerland on the account of this endorsement. There has to be an ultimatum. Yes. Sometimes we know that God has a predefined way of doing things which might not be known to us. See, but God has a plan for everything. For everything. He has a plan, He has a purpose for everything. And He's going to bring it to pass, that which He promised. Now, the ultimatum, the 4-day ultimatum, was issued by the IMF, compelling the Nigerian government to present specific representatives to sign the binding documents abroad, specifically at Switzerland. Now, this was not a matter of negotiation, but they had to comply. The decision to hold the signing abroad came after several failed attempts to maintain transparency and sincerity of purpose on Nigerian soil. And so this time it has to be on a foreign soil. Meetings were held in the villa which were successful. Those meetings were successful between stakeholders, the high-ranking officials, but the team, IMF team, was absent. Nigeria did not get an extension on the deadline just because they had a different plan. They had a different plan. Apostle Professor Ken have stepped up his leadership role, and I believe that he must have secured his final documentation and certifications, moving quickly to ensure that nothing absolutely hinders this final journey. The role of the country director in all of this fiasco cannot be overstated. He has navigated the maze, both spiritually and geopolitically. Oppositions came, different attacks came, but God gave us the victory. Now, to every Nigerian who is waiting for this grant to restart a business, yes, and some of them to pay fees of their schools, their children in schools, some of them to support a family, some to grow some cooperative or to install one, and they feel so betrayed because of what is going on. Listen to this. Here is the critical truth. Delay never means denial. Yes, there are spiritual forces fighting against this financial freedom, because when people are empowered, they begin to challenge oppressions. They begin to challenge poverty and misinformation. And that is why there has been an unusual pattern. Quote me. That is why there has been an unusual pattern of resistance, which ranges from internal sabotage, bribery attempts. You can't take this out. Internal sabotage is there. Bribery attempt is there. Manipulation within the financial ecosystem is there. Wicked personnel are there. Forces from the air, they're all there. The Nigeria's political inconsistencies made the foreign funders a little bit jittery and nervous. The IMF needed some solid assurance that any money that is released would not vanish into untraceable channels, and thus the conditions became so tighter. Legal documentation, international witnesses, offshore signings, diplomatic scrutinies, all of them had to be entrenched in what this five-man delegate, not men now, five-man delegate are expected to foster. Yes, they have to ensure legal documentation. They have to ensure the offshore signings. They have to ensure international witnesses, and they have to ensure that there is diplomatic scrutiny that takes place within all of these organs. The need for purification of leadership within clusters, within CEOs, within stakeholders was very crucial. I think that some people were not meant to lead this movement, but they found themselves in key roles, in key department roles. I don't know, but if they had to be removed for a cleansing, for a traceable disbursement, it would be nice. You got to get disbursement, but from the role that you would take as a leader, those roles, those leadership roles are not meant for certain people. It's not, I'm not using that to demean anybody, but you see, there are certain roles that leadership entrusts on you. If you are greedy, you wouldn't lead well. If you want the praise and accolades of men, you wouldn't lead well. Leadership is a thankless job. You wouldn't lead well. If you see leadership as a form of employment, you wouldn't do well. See it as a service. You see? So, amidst this tension and skepticisms, I believe that the key signs towards us are proving that progress is finally unstoppable. Is unstoppable. The delegates were sent abroad and they've left already. They should be completing their signature or whatever legal compliance that they needed to foster within these days. They should be completing it within this weekend to work the early next week. And the IMF audit report also, we believe in advance, is going to favor disbursement, provided the Nigerian representatives comply with certain anti-fraud. I want to believe that part of the compliance measures would be an anti-fraud procedures, which would have been implemented for them to invite them over to that place. A lot of documentation practices would have to be in place. And I believe that anti-fraud procedures will be part of those that they had to sign for, so that they can see who to hold accountable for the mess within the grand ecosystem. Yes, I congratulate you in advance. Yes, a clear indication that the hold button is just being replaced by the release button in very due course. Now, the biggest danger to the disbursement project right now is division. Listen to me very carefully. I want to drive in this very soundly and carefully. Very importantly. And I expect that every individual who are going to partake in this disbursement are to work according to these protocols. The biggest danger to the disbursement project at this time is division and discouragement, so to speak. Some opportunists are sharing some doctored information, some manipulated screenshots and audio notes that will breed fear. And these are often people who were excluded, or they felt excluded in the entire scheme. But nobody exonerated them. They excluded themselves just due to fear of nothing is going on, nothing is going to happen, everything is a scam. So they used that privilege to propagate that division and false upbeat discouragement in the minds of the people. Please, they want to derail the train. Don't ever fall for it. Also, you have to know that confusion weakens morals. And when masses are discouraged, it's going to open doors for the enemies of progress to hijack the narratives. But the truth ever remains that all efforts are now harmonized, and they are driving towards a singular point, the mass release and public announcement that has been awaited. So if all continues according to the most recent confirmation and purposes, in the next few days, I believe, there would be official announcement from the Apex platform leaders. We're expecting Apostle Ken also and some other verified heads to drop some official final phase updates very, very soon, possibly within days of listening to this voice note. Yes. And in no time, the full rollout of verified subscribers for disbursement, once the dry run is successful, once the dry run is successful, the disbursement, I believe that the disbursement software is going to be triggered automatically, and rollout of disbursement funds to all verified stakeholders and clusters or beneficiaries will be enforced. Definitely. So your alert is being awaited. Rejoice for that. Rejoice for that. Some of you have been talking, the media is not carrying this. Don't be surprised. When the media will finally carry all of this, could be when alert proliferated everywhere, because the massivity of the disbursement fund to all and sundry is going to trigger some level of noise within the ecosystem. That could be when the media will get involved. The bloggers will get involved. So right now, it's not a time to be idle or afraid or distracted as we wait. You must avoid fake news. Stick to these verified voice notes and organs within this channel. Trusted community leaders also will give information verily, verily. Prepare your account in readiness for what is coming. Make sure that everything is verified. Forgive those who misled you. Bitterness only clogs spiritual progress. So release all anger from your heart and prepare for joy. Give thanks in advance. Sometimes gratitude has a way of preceding manifestations, and as strange as it sounds, start to thank God for your alert even before it comes. Stay connected. Stay connected. Isolation causes ignorance. Stay connected. Finally, to the mothers who sold her wrapper for transport, to the youth who borrowed data daily just to stay connected to updates, to the elders who fasted for days and seeking divine intervention, to the leaders who stayed faithful even when followers mocked on. You did not wait in vain. Your tears are not in vain. Your season of reward is here. Yes, it took longer than expected. Yes, you were disappointed many times. I was disappointed many times. But don't ever confuse a detour to a denial. God is never late. He is only strategic in his ways. So as we wrap up things, let us remember that history has never recorded a massive grassroots of financial project in Nigeria on this scale. So yes, the pressure is heavy, but it is birthing something very mighty. Let your faith hold strong. Let your hope burn bright. And let your preparations be ready. The updates are real. The movement is alive. The release is imminent. And the masses shall rejoice. Share this with those that are still confused or discouraged. Help them understand the full picture. Let no one, nobody be left behind when the trumpet of disbursement finally sounds. We are not just waiting for a lot. We are walking into divine history. We are not just hoping. We are securing a new era of economic empowerment. So stay tuned, stay awake, and stay blessed. We love you. This is Princess Seed Channel, the channel with legitimacy of updates and information. In case you're new to our channel, kindly subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss out on vital updates. I love you. God bless you and have a wonderful day ahead of you. Bye for now.